Good afternoon, this is Freddie with Plumbing Tree. We're located at 8701 Chantilly Avenue in San Diego, California. We are in back of the home, which is the property, and we are going to be performing a main sewer line camera inspection through the 4-inch access point, the 3-inch access point, here right in the crawl space access. We're going to determine the condition of the sewer line. We did an inspection underneath the home and found to be original cast iron, 3-inch cast iron, and we're going to see what the inside looks as well as what the underground piping looks from the foundation out. So this is a small section of ABS plastic. You see it's kind of smooth surface. It's the pipe that's right there. And then you can see the bottom of the pipe is actually top left corner of the screen. We're going to flip it, and there's the bottom of the pipe there. You can see how it transitions now. It changes color, and much rougher surface. Got a little bit of sitting water here. We don't want too much more than that, but that's fine. And this is good though. But what we have a nice round pipe, a little bit of buildup. It's fine. No problem there. Bottom of the pipe is bottom left corner of the screen. This is you can't really see it, but there's actually a tie-in coming in, maybe the shower or bathroom sink in that area.
So is it normal to have a little bit of water in there then?
Because of the material of the pipe, yeah. See, this is like a piece of toilet paper there. And it's not going to flush completely through. It might take a few flushes for it to get all the way through. So now we get into a turn, and we can actually see the water levels a little higher, that white line right there. And we're going to go into a little bit more water right there. And this is where we start to see where I took a picture in that section where there's some sore spots underneath. And that's because probably since day one, there's been sitting water in there. So that section was probably, the pipe's supposed to have a grade to it. It's supposed to have pitch going down. So when I saw it, I didn't have a level with me, but I could tell it was kind of flat.
I was going to say it's not pitched properly.
Yeah, so that's why we have sitting water there. And it does another 45-degree turn here. Just tie in. There's another tie in right there. There's a toilet right here, kind of a cone shape opening. There's a toilet there. I think there's one more tie in coming up. I think that's it. So I know it's probably hard for you to tell right there, but if you notice the pipe, it's not as round. So it's actually more like, if you look at the shadow, it's round here, but then it's got a little bit of a dip there. That's just signs of the valley that's been being formed through the water usage with time. So see, it's a good picture here. So it's more oval here. But there's not much sitting water at the bottom there, which is good. This is underneath the stairs now. Some normal build. Oh, this is actually a tie-in. This is actually but there's an opening right here going in from the left. That's going to be the kitchen and the laundry line tie-in. We're still underneath the steps. So this whole section would be abandoned anyways, once that line is replaced. It's underneath the steps. We should be pretty close to the outside. And the line does a little bit of a zigzag here. We probably would tie in somewhere around this area. I'm going to locate this area before on the way back. So roughly about 32 feet. That's the bottom of the pipe. Here it's not as deteriorated at the bottom. You actually have more of a flat bottom, which is just signs of just buildup on there.
And then is it from here going to tie into the other bathroom, or?
We actually passed that already.
Oh, we saw both.
Yeah. On the way, right after the plastic turned to cast iron, I forgot to point it out, but the toilet tied in right away. Yeah. So far not too bad. I mean, just expected wear. Not a lot of sitting water. Not see any cracks. The bottom of the pipe is here. Just some buildup. Tell the line hasn't been cleaned here. Whenever they cleaned it, they probably used a single blade. They probably didn't use like an open blade, a double blade, which is hard to do with cast iron anyways, just because of the buildup at the bottom.
The thing was, we called them, and then like 2 days later, we had to call them back, so it didn't even clear.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. So now we're close to the property line. The pipe actually goes kind of down, dips downwards, going down here. That's more the glare on the. It's the rust, but it's the light hitting the different colors. There's like orange, brown, and red, and yellow because of the rust of the metal. Cast iron rusts pretty easily with water. So it looks like we have an underground clean out. It's hard to tell, but there's an opening coming in right here. Well, actually, it looks like it does a turn.
When it hits the city, it turns into clay, right?
Yeah, which it should be right here. Yeah, that's clay. See, it's a much smoother surface. It's not a bumpy.
Okay, but this would still be on her property.
Yes, so this is actually the connection that would be connected to if the outside was replaced. So this is the cast iron connection there, and there's just a little bit of sitting water there. There we go. So, would you like me to proceed to see what the clay looks like onto the street? So clay, we're going to see these connections about every 2 to 3 feet. The clay on the inside is that pinkish color, but on the
Okay, now is this, what we're looking at, is this still her responsibility, or is this the
Nope.
city's? Okay, so we're already into the city then.
most likely, yeah. It just depends. The city sometimes will say you have to replace to the curb, or sometimes to the property line. The property line is usually right before the sidewalk. Most of the time it's at the property line. And this is, I'll locate this on the way back, just to see how deep it is and where it's at, so I can give you an estimate, just so you can see what's there. Because right now it looks like the rest of the line outside is going to be maintainable. It might still have some issues with slowing stuff down, potentially could cause some clogs as it continues to build on the inside, so build up. But it looks maintainable, so if there's an accessible clean on the outside, worst cases, calling out every once or twice a year, or once every year to 2 years.
Okay, so once you put the clean out, then they can just snake it going towards the street, basically.
Yeah, we still put in a two-way clean out, But yeah, it would be, you'd have to go only towards the street, which would be, from the measurements, would be roughly about 30 feet of pipe. That would have to be snaked every once in a while. Because right now, by the looks of it, I would say underneath the house is a little bit more pressing than outside. And no roots, no large standing water, no real liabilities besides the possibility of it backing up. The outside, potentially, depending on the amount of usage, could probably, if maintained, could probably last about 10 years. Yeah. On the inside, the only thing that makes it more pressing is just you don't want to have a sewer backup on the inside.
Oh, no, yeah.
And so what'll happen is, as it's thinning out, and for the reason if it happens to break through the line, then you don't notice it, and the crossway starts to fill up with sewage, and that's when it becomes pricey. But we're just going to check to the city main. We have a little bit of an offset there. But again, this is not. The city technically says that homeowners are responsible to the middle of the street, but still, as a courtesy, they don't make homeowners pay for. Yeah, so this is another section. So we're seeing more connections because clay back then was only manufactured about every 3 feet. This house, I'm assuming, was about the mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
And so this community is roughly around that. So when they connected them, they had more connections. Cast
More
iron was,
joints,
yeah, cast iron was made every 10 feet, roughly, unless you had a tie-in coming in. But clay was made every 3 feet.
How does it work as far as when you're doing the work, like, does all this water get shut off each day, all day, or how does that?
No, we do sections at a time. So, for example, it would be the back bathroom first, then the middle bathroom, or to the outside on there. So it'd probably be about 3 days max, 2 to 3 guys working. It'll just be a period of time where
Turn off the water for a couple hours or something?
yeah, and so the first day won't be as bad. The second day would probably be a little bit just more. It'd be more of the day, not just a few hours. They wouldn't be able to use flushing in water because then it'll end up in her face.
Yeah.
Which has happened, but not really in our face, but in our work area. So here's the city main at about 90 feet. So you can see a bigger pipe, much bigger pipe, water flowing here. And so that clay actually looks really good. So the only recommendation would be for the outside would be a clean out, but that would be taken care of when the inside is done because of the reroute. So I'll locate where it transitions from cast iron to clay, and then I'll locate right after the steps, just so I know the depth in both areas, so I can at least just give you an estimate on our rates now, what it would cost to replace the additional 30 feet.
Yeah, it's interesting when I walk the dog, the city's been on some of the streets replacing, part of the lateral.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the clean out things, right down somebody's yard, sometimes it's smacking the sidewalk.
Yeah. They don't have a like a requirement for every single section. But the good thing is you notice them. People just walk by them for years and don't know what they are. Okay, so this is where we're going to locate. So 62 feet roughly. I'm going to pause recording and locate the spot. Alright, located the spot. There's about a 5 by 5 foot planter, a box, and it's kind of right at where it goes. Pretty much a straight line on the walkway. We're going to pull back to about 32 feet